Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Monday. So today was a pretty bad day in the markets for Bitcoin and the miners themselves. We saw a lot of down on Bitcoin going down to about 25,000. And we'll take a look at what's going on there. We'll also take a look at Sphere 3D. They provided their production updates for August. We are still missing a couple though. We're still missing Hut 8 numbers and I believe Mawson's numbers as well. So we'll wait a couple more days for those. We'll give them until the 14th. 2 weeks is plenty of time to get the information out. And then we'll also take a look at what is the current cost to mine one Bitcoin for all these miners and what is their break-even point, basically, as far as where Bitcoin has to be for them to break even. Right now, based on the August production numbers, and for some of them, we only have the July numbers like for Hut 8 and Mawson. So we'll get into all that. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Please do your own research and invest in the following cleansing companies for full disclosure. And as always, you guys, if you hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's get into what we got going on here. So if we take a look at Sphere 3D here right now, Sphere 3D Corp provides August 2023 production and operational update. Here's what we have on them. They mined 58.3 Bitcoin in August, down 2.5% from July and up 359 year over year. Last year, they were at about 100 petahash. So that's so what I'm looking for. It makes sense that they're up 359% year over year because they were just so low back then. Month-end operating hash rate was 1.3 exahash, up 18% from July and 13x year over year. Well, yeah, they were at 100 petahash last year. For a long time, they were at 100 petahash, so it's good to see that they're finally starting to get back up a little bit here, and they had a nice growth here this month. In August, that is. Operations achieved 74.1 BTC exahash efficiency. That is based on their averages. I look at the total number that they had installed, so 1.3 exahash. How many Bitcoin did they mine? My efficiency for them score is much lower than that because I use the full number, not just the days that they were mining for it. Uptime was 66%, down from July due to significant increase in curtailments over the month as a result of record high temperatures at our hosting partner sites. They do have a lot of them that are like in Texas and places like that. So with the heat that we've had in August, obviously a lot of the companies that are based in Texas have curtailed quite a bit, so that's understandable there as well. Other things here, CEO comments here. We energized an additional 2,210 miners during August, bringing our deployed hash rate to 1.3 exahash, said Patricia Trumpeter, CEO of Sphere 3D Corp. Bitcoin mined were 58.3, representing 359 increase year over year and a 3% decrease from July. The lower production from July was due to continued curtailments related to record high temperatures at our Texas and Missouri hosting sites. Okay. So that all makes sense there. Let's take a look at the numbers and we'll get into the actual break-even numbers for all the miners here that we do have. So Sphere 3D right now has 11.9 million shares outstanding. Stock price as of today was $1.48. Market cap is at 17.6 million. Their performance over the last 12 weeks has been kind of rocky here. So they're down 1.4% from 12 weeks ago. They're down 26.8% from 8 weeks ago. From 4 weeks ago, they're down 5.4%, and from last week, they were actually up 34.72%. So they did have a nice bounce there last week, along with another miner. I can't remember now which one that was, but they had a pretty good bounce there. Okay, current hash rate 1.3. Future hash rate is going to be 1.8 exahash. They currently have a HODL of 2.8 Bitcoin. They have been selling their Bitcoin like crazy here recently to try to, I guess, pay at least operations, things like that. But that's valued at about 72,000 right now. BTC production here, you can see here it peaked in May. May was a good month for a lot of the miners because of the network transaction fees. So they were at 77.7, and ever since then they've been coming down. In June 65.1, July 59.8, and now in August 58.3. Then you can take a look at the monthly difference as far as how much they mined each month, whether it was positive or negative. BTC HODL, their BTC HODL also reached 103 in December of last year. They were pretty much hodling everything that they could and diluting in the process to get to that point. And then in January, they sold quite a bit there. They were down to 19, and it's been kind of up and down here recently, but in the last 4 months or 3 months, June, July, and August, they've been selling more than they were mining here. You can see that on the chart here. And then BTC per exahash efficiency, I have them at 44.85, and that is based on the 1.3 exahash that they do have installed and the number of days that they were actually mining for it. That's how we got the efficiencies. Okay, BTC sold, you can see how much they sold. They actually sold more than they mined. They sold 66 Bitcoin compared to only mining 58.3. So That is not always a good place to be in. Hash rate, you can see here, has been increasing here this year at least. They were stuck at 100 petahash last year. Then December, they finally got a little bit up to 365. Then they were at 433 petahash, up to 1 exahash here in May, June, July, up to 1.1 exahash, and now in August to 1.3. So that's good. They still have about 500 exahash to, not 500 exahash, 500 petahash, sorry, to install left. Okay, BTC mined revenue peaked in May as well, 2.14 million, and then they've been coming down here ever since then. In August, we know that Bitcoin price has been coming down as well, so that is contributable to that in itself. Hash rate difference, how much they increase their hash rate each month. You can see on this chart here how much they've sold here, and you can see that they've been selling more than they have actually been generating. They sold 1.8 roughly based on the Bitcoin average price for August here. And then July, 2.1 million. They only generated 1.8 million. And then same thing for June. May was actually a month where they sold less than they actually generated, which was nice to see. But other than that, we can see here that April was also one month where they sold more than they generated. And then we had actually March, which was less, and we had more and more here as well. Okay. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Their last 4 quarters revenue here, we've talked about that when they reported their quarterly results. And then as far as institutions and analyst ratings are concerned here, institutions did go down to 21 from 25, but shares increased as far as how much institutions are holding that to 126,550, which is good to see. And percentage also increased to 1.06% from 0.35%. We still, however, don't have any analyst ratings for them as far as strong buy, hold, underperform, and sell. Those are all at 0. Price targets are still at 0. That's kind of what we're looking at here. And then when we look at their actual numbers here for August, we can see here that based on what they reported, I have them mining at approximately 19.18 days out of the month, which would be pretty close to the 66% that they reported mining for the day, for the month, sorry. That got them to the 1.623 million, which is what we have here based on the Bitcoin average price for August here, 1.623 million. Okay, so that all works out. And then based on the numbers that we have here, looking at the last 3 quarters in the current quarter that we're in, which is an estimate number with a P of 5, I think they should be valued around $2.84 to $4.25. They're currently at $1.48. I think they're undervalued, but they're undervalued for a reason. That reason is their costs to mine Bitcoin are pretty high. Their debt to equity ratio is also not too bad. And then the current ratio has also fallen down here, which is way below. So they obviously don't have enough to pay current debt with current assets. As you can see here, they have 4.68 million as of Q2, and total current assets and total current liabilities is at 7.16 million. So that's a concern there, right? Okay, so that's the reason for it. If we look forward to the next 12 months before the 12 months, including the halving event. So 7 months before the halving event, and then another 5 months after the halving at 50%. I have them at $3.24 to $4.86 with a P of 5 also. That's also being pretty generous for them. They are a small miner, being at 1.8 exahash. Their efficiency isn't too bad in the miners that they do have. They are under 30 joules per terahash. Currently, they're at 29.5, which is good, which should help them out, but they really have to dial down their costs of operations. What I'm talking about there is their mostly their general administrative costs are relatively high. They generated here revenue of 5.4 million in Q2, but their general administrative costs were 3.6 million. Right, that's a huge chunk. That's basically, what is that, like 70%, 65, 75, somewhere around there, percentage-wise. So that definitely has to get under control. And then the cost of digital mining revenue was 4.07. So with just those two things combined, they had more expenses than they had revenue. And that's a concern there, okay? So that's it for Sphere 3D. Let me know what you guys think of them. And let's take a look at the break-even points for all the miners here. And I'll point out some things to you guys as well while we're doing it. One thing is Iris Energy has not provided their numbers yet. They're supposed to provide those on the 13th. They've had more than ample time to provide their numbers. I don't know why they're always, well, no, I wouldn't say always, but unfortunately this time around, they're at the very end here. They provide their numbers every 6 months because they're based in Australia and not in the US, where the US you have to provide your numbers every quarter. Okay, a couple other things here. Hut 8 and Mawson As you can see here that they are highlighted here, they did not provide yet their August mining operations, so we're using the July numbers for them. So take that for what it's worth. And here's what we're looking at here. So we're taking a look at their quarterly expenses, which is basically their general administrative, anything else that goes into that category of things. On this column here, we're converting it over to USD dollars if it's in Canadian dollars. And then we're also looking at energy costs, which also could include operational costs as well in that. But those were for the last quarter reported. And then we're dividing it by 3 months to get the monthly expenses for energy, and then the regular expenses of general administrative, selling, things like that in this column here. How much did Bitcoin did they mine on average over the last 3 months in that quarter? We have that number here. And then we're calculating the cost of energy per BTC. So basically, what is their energy cost, operation, things like that, per one Bitcoin being mined. So when we look at that here, we can see that TeraWolf is at 9.2 thousand, Marathon's at 18.8 thousand, CleanSpark is at 12.7, Hive is at 18.6 thousand, Bitfarms at 16.2 thousand, BitDigital at 17.7 thousand, Cypher at 12.6 thousand, Riot at 13.3. The interesting part about Riot is obviously they curtail and they also get credits for their energy there. So this might get offset, at least in the second quarter, by about what, 25, 30%, something like that. So it might be lower than that actually. In the current quarter that we're in August, they had like 31 million in energy credits, which was just outstanding, which was mind-boggling. But that's definitely going to offset some of the costs here associated with their cost to mine one Bitcoin. Okay, Core came in at 19.2 thousand, Stronghold at 18.2 thousand, DigiHost at 17,000, Hut 8 at 20,000.6. And then Sphere 3D came in at 22.8, DMG came in at 15.5 thousand, Mawson at 18.4, and BitDeer at 18.2 thousand, based on what I could calculate on everybody here. Okay, so the break-even price here for the quarter was for TeraWolf 20.6 thousand, Marathon 25.8, CleanSpark 23.6, Hive 24.2, Bitfarms 24.6, BitDigital 34.7. That's definitely high because of some of their administrative costs in there. Cypher 29.5, Riot at 20,000, Core at 27,000, Stronghold at 30,000, DigiHost at 25.3, Hut 8 at 34.4. That's also attributable to their general administrative costs and other things that were included in that as well. Sphere was at 47,000. Like I said, Sphere, when we just talked about them, they have a lot of general administrative costs, and the cost to mine Bitcoin included in that really hurts them in the long run. That's why they are down where they are. Right? If all things were equal, where they were generating more, they had better expenses or lower expenses. Excuse me. We could possibly get them lower in price than that. DMG came in at 22,000, Mawson at 57,000, BitDeer at 26,000. Mawson is another one that has general administrative costs that are kind of high up there as well. And they have curtailed some, so I believe they do get some credits for that as well. So that might offset that a little bit as well. Okay, BitDeer at 26.3 thousand. Okay, and that's using the average Bitcoin price for the quarter at around 28,000 for Q2. Okay, and then we can see the profit margins here for all of these guys at 35 for TeraWolf, 8% for Marathon, 18 for CleanSpark. Hive was at 15, Bitfarms was at 13, BitDigital was actually negative 19. Cypher was negative 5, Riot was 36%, Core was at 3%, Stronghold was negative 7%, DigiHost was 10%, Hut 8 was 18%, Sphere 3D was negative 40%, DMG was 24%, Mawson was negative 51%, and BitDeer was 6%. Right? This does not include power credits and also depreciation in those numbers. Right? When you add in depreciation, things look a little bit different there. BTC mined in August, so now we're looking at the August numbers, the latest numbers that we do have for them, and then we're looking at the energy costs. So what we're doing here is taking the cost of energy per BTC on average, what they paid for in Q2, multiplying it times the number of Bitcoins mined, we get the energy cost possibly for the current month of August, right? This is an estimate number here. So you can see all those numbers down here. I'm not going to go over all those. You can take a screenshot of it, take a look at it. And then we're also adding in the total current monthly expenses, which is a combination of the energy cost for the Bitcoin that they mined, plus the monthly expenses of general administrative, sales, whatever that might include in there. Okay, so those are the numbers there. And then current break-even BTC price for TeraWolf was 19.7 thousand, Marathon was 25.3 thousand, CleanSpark was 21.6, Hive was 24.3, Bitfarms 25.1, BitDigital 30.6, Cypher 32.5, Riot was at 26.1, Core was at 28.6, Stronghold 29.8, DigiHost 25.2, Hut 8 at 36.5, Sphere at 47.6, DMG at 25.5, Mawson at 52, and BitDeer at 23.4 thousand, right? So those are the way that things stacked up. Right now, in the month of, well, currently, in the month of September, the Bitcoin average price is right now at about 25,886. So based on this number here, and I probably should have used, come to think about it, I probably should have used the average Bitcoin price in August here. Why don't we do that? I think that might be actually a better number to use here in August. In August, if we use that, that's 27,000. We'll get a better number for it. So that should work out better for us. Some things that are kind of hindsight when you work it out, but then when you actually discuss it, it makes a little bit different sense when you put the numbers that you should be having for August. Okay, so here we go. So here's how things stacked up here. Terra Alpha at this point with Bitcoin average price in August at 27,853. Current profit for that month, at least estimated for TerraWolf would be 41%, Marathon 10%, CleanSpark 28%, Hive at 14%, Bitfarms at 10%, BitDigital would be down 9%, Cypher would be down 14%, Riot would be at 6%, Core would be at negative 2%, Stronghold negative 6%, DigiHost 10%, Hut 8 negative 23%, Sphere negative 41%, DMG 9%, Mawson negative 46%, BitDeer 18%. Okay, and then here's the difference between the quarter results and the current month of August results. So that's how things have kind of stacked up here a little bit. And then when we look at the actual numbers here, it's nice to take a look at how things are looking right now. And here's what we have here. So we got two charts here that we're looking at here. One chart is the break-even BTC price of the quarter. So that's the kind of dark gray number here. And then the orange number is the current break-even BTC price for August. So what you want to see is basically numbers going down in August compared to the break-even for the quarter. So we do see that with TerraWolf. We see that with Marathon. We definitely see that with CleanSpark. Hive is actually up here in the current month compared to the previous quarter. Bitfarms is also up here. BitDigital is down, which is good. Cypher is actually up. Riot would be up as well, but they have so many doggone curtailment credits and everything else that should be lower probably. Not Cypher, but Riot here. Core was up as well. Stronghold was actually down, so that's good. DigiHost was down a little bit here. Hut 8 was up actually. And then it also really depends on what they have mined in August here. We're using the August numbers instead of the July numbers, so that's kind of not correct here. Sphere 3D as well, excuse me, was up. DMG was up as well. Mawson was actually down, so that's good, from 57,000 to 52,000. BitDeer was also down to 23,000 from 26,000, so that's good there. And then when we look at the actual BTC mined average in Q1 or Q2 versus what they mined in August, where we're looking here is miners that actually mined more than the average for the quarter, for the past quarter. So TerraWolf actually mined more. Marathon definitely mined more. CleanSpark, same thing, definitely mined more. Hive actually mined less, so that's concerning there. Bitfarms mined less, that's also concerning there. They're not growing faster than the network hash rate. BitDigital is up, so that's good there. Cypher is down, right? So they're pretty much stalled out in hash rate growth a little bit here. Riot is down because they've curtailed so much, and that's the reason for it. Core Scientific is down. They're not growing as much at all recently until they announced the purchase of some Bitmain miners, which we'll see if that gets approved. Stronghold is actually up, so that's good. DigiHost is up a little bit here. Hut 8 is down. They haven't installed anything as well. Sphere is down a little bit here, and DMG is down. Mawson is also up, and then BitDeer is up. So those are the good ones to take a look at there. Okay, and then finally, when we look at the profit percentage current versus the quarter versus the profit percentage in August is another one to look at things. TerraWolf is up, so that's good. Marathon is up as well, so is CleanSpark. Hive is actually down. Bitfarms is down. What else do we have here? BitDigital actually improved, so that's good there. Cypher got worse. Riot, Riot's down because the curtailments that they have done in August. Core is actually down. Stronghold is improving a little bit here. DigiHost is down a little bit. Hot 8 is down. Sphere 3D is down. DMG is down. Mawson improved, so that's good. And BitDeer is actually up. So that's how everything stacks up here. Okay. So let me know what you guys think of all of these numbers here. It's always nice to take a look at, see how things are stacking up as far as how much does it cost to mine per Bitcoin, what are their operating expenses and things like that, and where is the Bitcoin price needing to be for all these miners to basically break even. Okay. So this will be available to my Patreon members, along with obviously Sphere 3D numbers. And I still gotta get the YouTube members as well, all of this stuff, screenshots and everything else. I've just been extremely busy there, so I do apologize for everyone for not getting those out. I will get those out within the next couple of days for you guys. And let's take a look at Bitcoin, see what's going on with that right now as far as the pullback that we've seen today and how the miners have obviously reacted to it as well. So I said in my previous video that I did on, this was yesterday, Sunday morning, that I did as far as, what was that for? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. Old age, it sucks. But we looked at the Bitcoin miners and, gosh, well, you guys know the video. I'm drawing a blank. Like I said, old age sucks. But Bitcoin is down, obviously, today. It was down quite a bit. It was down 2.63%. It was down $679 to 25,152. It hit a low of 24,900 on the day. Our previous low was back here at 24,750. This was back in June the 15th of this year, obviously. We had a nice rise after that, and then we've been falling down pretty much after that point. But in yesterday's video, I said we might be coming down towards, the video was on Bitcoin miners, where they could be as far as Bitcoin getting to 188,000 and 277,000 if we get the US Bitcoin spot ETF. And I said in that video that I think we might be coming down through the remainder of this year, possibly getting to a low of 22,000, 20,000, somewhere around there before January. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping I'm wrong on that. But the trend line that I'm seeing here right now is not looking good. RSI is up, price is down, which is not a great sign to see on the daily chart. We've been seeing that for a while here. And if we get down to 20,000 here, which was right around here, this would be back to where we were in basically March. Before then we started going possibly up before the halving event and into the halving event, which is going to happen in April sometime. Okay, so also a lot of unknowns there in the economy here. We do know that the student loans are going to be starting back up in October, so there's going to be a lot less money for people to have to invest in Bitcoin and miners and things like that. We also know that the Fed is still kind of up in the air as far as which way they want to go in interest rate hikes. It looks like they might pause. Some are saying that they might pause. Some are saying that they will continue to increase those. They do want to obviously not pay down. They want to, I think it's deleverage. I'm trying to blank. Guys, I'm sorry, it's late. So my mind is full of other things as well. But I think the Fed wants to get rid of some of the assets that they do have on hand right now, get those off the books. And there's just a lot of unknowns right now, okay? So we'll have to see how things play out. As far as the miners, you can see here that the miners for the most, well, everybody was down for the day. The biggest losers here on the day was Stronghold. Iris Energy was down a lot, 10%. Greenage was down also a lot. Cores was down a lot. Bitfarms, BitDeer was down almost 9%. And then everybody else here was around 4, 5, 3%. Marathon was down 7%. Mawson, surprisingly, was actually at 0, was flat on the day. They've been beaten down quite a bit here when we look at them overall. If we look at the, let me see here, the daily chart, and we can go back and probably should get rid of this weekly. Let's get rid of that. That way we can kind of see how things are shaping up along with daily lines. Let's get rid of that. From their peak here in 2021, they've come down a significant amount here in reduction. I mean, they're down 99.47% down from their peak in 2021. So basically from 2 years ago, that's a huge drop. And they haven't really recovered since the bull run that we had in the bear market in 2022, and we've been kind of up in the air, well, up at least this year. But you can kind of see how that has affected them, especially. But they're way beaten down as it is. Uh, but maybe rightfully so. Okay. So that's it for everything. Let me know what you guys think. There's obviously a lot of fear in the markets right now. And if you're a long-term investor, I think this is a great opportunity because it's a great way to dollar cost average into it, especially in the miners that you believe in. Some of the big guys that obviously are over 10 exahash, I don't think they're going to have a problem with getting past the halving event and everything else and then into the bull run. Some of the guys that are between the 5 and the 7, or between 5 and 10 exahash, I don't think they will have any problems either. It's the little guys that we really have to watch out for, the ones that are between 0 and maybe 3 exahash. Those guys might be in some trouble there. So we'll keep looking at these numbers here, seeing how things stack up going forward each month. And then we'll update you guys as best as we can on all of this stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. Leave a comment down below what you guys think is going to happen in the next couple of months. Where do you guys see Bitcoin going to by the end of the year? And the miners as well. It's always great to see other perspectives on everything. I'm kind of trying to go through all the numbers as well. And hopefully you guys maybe have some different numbers. So it's always great to see those as well. But yeah, like I said, that's it. Hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.